Hello and welcome to another episode of Other Items of Interest. I am your host, Jack Zablocki. This week we've got plenty of dumb criminals, some dumb cops, and some various other stories as usual. Enjoy. Hello and welcome to another episode of Other Items of Interest. I'm your host, Jack Zablocki. We are back and very rusty. This is about my fifth try trying to record this intro. So we'll see how this one goes. We had a nice vacation. I hope you guys enjoyed the best of compilations we aired in place of regular shows. Starting back Thanksgiving week, we did best of poops and farts, which was well received. Then we came back and did a regular show. And then the rest of December into New Year's, we had best of compilations, drinking and drugs, ufology, and 2 episodes of Best of Animal Stories. Those are all still available if you'd like to download them. And if you did already listen to them, I hope you enjoyed them. But we are back now and very rusty. Completely forgotten how to get into the scheme of things. At a loss for words. And I think we're probably just going to get right into the stories. Hope you had good holidays. Hope you're having a good 2020. Yeah. So, here we go, I guess. I am so rusty. And I got to complain a little bit. I have got a little stomach bug yesterday and today. Not feeling very well. Making a trip to the bathroom every 20 minutes is not fun. So, I don't need to be telling you this. You're not my medical help. But I think it's best if we just get into the stories. I think this week it's a lot of police stories and dumb criminals. So enjoy. It's funny. I think it's funny. Maybe you'll think it's funny too. Maybe not. I don't know. I am so rusty coming back into this show. I almost don't feel like doing it. Just going to do best of compilations based on all the previous podcasts we've done. I know it's kind of like cheating and not very interesting or entertaining, but I'm going to run out of stuff to make compilations of after a while. I'll start making compilations of compilations. So I got to get back into the swing of things. So I think we should get started. Right? Right. I think I've said that several times now, and we just haven't started. So you can keep going around in circles. Enough of this. Do that little segue music. You know, do. Do it? Can you do it? Thank you. Okay, here we go. Let's start the show for real. From the New York Post, cat lover sues woman over adopted pet's appalling, emphasis on paw in appalling, sleeping arrangements. That's right. That's what these people are doing with their lives. A cancer-ridden cat lover has launched a vicious court battle against the woman who took in her beloved feline because the new cat mom doesn't allow the furball to sleep in her bed. Danette Romano is accused of telling a tall tale when she agreed to adopt little Lacey from Carol Money, who is too sick with breast cancer to continue caring for the pet she adopted as a kitten in 2009. Money, 73, said she told Romano that Lacey's distress at night from not sleeping with her was the only reason she would consider letting someone adopt Lacey. So she expected her pampered Norwegian forest cat would be allowed to take up quarters in Romano's bed. But that's not what happened. According to Money's lawsuit filed in Onondaga Supreme Court in late November, that word Onondaga threw me way off. Romano knew that she would not let Lacey sleep with her at night and purposely withheld this information from Money in order to induce plaintiff into letting her adopt Lacey, the complaint said. Romano of Syracuse adopted the cat for $65 in the spring of 2018 and allegedly vowed to return it to Money if the cat was unhappy, the suit said. The feline fiasco blew up when Money of Brewerton visited Lacey at her new home, and Romano's husband let the cat out of the bag, hardy har har, admitting We don't let Lacey sleep with us, court papers said. Money said the husband also claimed that suddenly skittish Kitty refused to come upstairs, but waited for them at the bottom of the stairs each night and would even be there in the morning when they woke up, according to the suit. I think it's implying that the cat stayed at the bottom of the stairs all night, which is kind of sad. You pick up the cat and bring it up with you. Let's get back to this. Upset by Lacey's... is that appalling joke again? Upset by Lacey's appalling sleeping arrangement. I remember why I needed a vacation from the show now. So it's like articles from the New York Post that use these puns and jokes that are just terrible. Sometimes, every once in a while, there's a good, funny one. But Jesus Christ. Anyway, upset by Lacey's appalling sleeping arrangements, Money said she began barraging Romano with texts, emails, and voicemails to discuss the matter. She even went to the Romano's home on December 20th, 2018, but had the cops called on her for harassment. Shortly after, she said she received a cease and desist letter asking her to no longer contact the Romanos. Money, who sits on the board of directors for the Central New York Cat Coalition, which cares for homeless cats, is suing for breach of contract and other claims and seeking unspecified damages. It's not clear if Lacey is still with Romano, but Money is seeking her safe return. Money's lawyer, Ryan Souzer, declined to comment. Romano did not immediately return messages. So, that's what those people are doing with their lives. I am glad I am living my life. And now we go to Kansas. From the Wichita Eagle, Kansas.com. Shopper falls asleep on a comfy store mattress and stays the night, Missouri cops say. If this woman hasn't bought the mattress already, she might want to consider it. An employee opening a store for business in Richmond Heights, Missouri, found a shopper sleeping on a display bed. The employee called the cops to investigate. When officers arrived, the woman told them she was testing out the mattress the night before and fell asleep the whole night through. The business declined to pursue charges of trespassing against the woman, the newspaper reported. On Facebook, police joked that such a heavy slumber was a good reason to buy the mattress. Those funny, funny cops. That's honestly the best mattress endorsement we've ever heard, police said. Apparently they're getting a lot of mattress endorsements, the police of Wichita, Kansas. So there's that. That's a nice short one. We can move on, get on with our lives. It must have been a pretty good bed, though. I mean, you pass out on it, sleep the whole night through in a store. I would have freaked the fuck out waking up the next morning. I swear. That would have been a rude awakening, so to speak. Okay, here we go. This is just absurd. Profane note left on missed Home Depot delivery slip in Seattle. This is from King5.com, King5 News. A Seattle woman says she was fearful after an offensive word was left on a missed delivery slip from a Home Depot last week. Lara Zarowski missed a Friday delivery to her new home in Seattle. The note left behind by the driver included the date and time of the missed delivery, along with a word or acronym that she said was offensive. Zarowski called Home Depot's customer service department, who shared what the driver's acronym meant. She says, "Oh, I talked to the driver, and he says it means, 'See you next time.' I didn't accept that as an answer, as I think most people wouldn't," Zarowski said. And they have a picture of the missed delivery slip on here. The word or the acronym left on the note is blurred out, so I can't tell you accurately what it says, but if you abbreviate "see you next time," I think you'll get the meaning. That couldn't have been a mistake. Who does that? Zarowski told customer service she thought it was offensive and claimed the company didn't apologize for the note until Zarowski canceled her order and posted a photo of the note on Twitter. Home Depot said it's looking into the matter further and that they apologize for this behavior. We're trying to figure out how in the world such an inappropriate message would be left for a customer, a Home Depot spokesperson said in a statement. We take this very seriously and we're investigating the matter. Zarowski said she believes this was a basic misdelivery, but when words like this are used, even as an acronym, they need to be called out. I just really would want this person to understand that that's a frightening thing they did, Zarowski said. They actually invoked fear for whatever reason they felt compelled to do that. It's a scary response for a woman coming home, knowing that the person who just left that note knows exactly where she lives and, could be back at any time. Well, there's that. I think, I hate to say she's overreacting a little bit, but she just might be. And the delivery driver, that can't be a mistake. Nobody uses that acronym in a appropriate manner, right? Okay. Just making sure we're all on the same page here. Let's go to the next thing. From globalnews.ca, owner furious with Detroit firefighters over burning house selfie. How come we're calling all photos now selfies? This is obviously a portrait of a fire department taken by a person. It's not a selfie. Anyway, so-called selfie is included in the article. If you want to check that out, you can find the link in our show notes at www.otheritemsofinterest.com if you feel so inclined. It's a good picture. It really is. That house is just ablaze. And those firefighters, their uniforms, very sexy, very handsome. I don't know what I'm talking about. 18 Detroit firefighters are in hot water with their commissioner and the owner of a now-destroyed home after they appeared to pose for a photo outside the burning house on New Year's Eve in Michigan. The image was posted on Facebook late Tuesday on the Detroit Fire Incidents page, the Associated Press reports. Crews take a moment to get a selfie on New Year's, the caption read. Firefighters were taking a moment to celebrate a retirement, according to Deputy Fire Commissioner Dave Fornell. He said the photo was taken outside a vacant house that was too dangerous to enter on Tuesday evening. It was despicable, Fornell said. The owners of the home said they were livid to see the firefighters using it for a photo op, the New York Post reports. Everybody is furious. Deontay Higginbottom, 21, told the Post. That sounds like a name straight from the Shire. Deontay Higginbottom. He said the home has been in his family for 5 decades. He had been living there with his 70-year-old mother who has Alzheimer's, but they temporarily moved out during a remodeling effort. They just let it burn to the ground, Higginbottom said. 18 men and none of them did anything. Property records show the home belongs to a Dorothy Higginbottom. In all fairness, the commissioner guy said it was too dangerous to enter the home and it was a vacant house. So that guy's a professional. He said what they did was despicable at the same time, so I'm apt to believe the house was too dangerous to go into. Anywho, that's my 2 cents. The firefighters' photo sparked several angry comments on Facebook, which prompted the page managers to remove it. I hope that was a stage fire, one person wrote. I'd hate to think my firemen were posing for pictures while a real house was burning. And there's a picture of the aftermath of the house. There's really nothing left except the brick steps leading up to the front door. Fire Commissioner Eric Jones announced he was looking into the photo in response to the outcry. There are a lot of ways to celebrate a retirement, Jones said in a statement. Taking a photo in front of a building on fire is not one of them. He also addressed concerns for the homeowner. 99% of the men and women who go to a scene like that know what to do, Jones told the Detroit News. Behind every fire is a devastated family or property owner. He added that discipline will be in order if the photo is verified. The cause of the fire has not been released. All right, and here we'll get into more dumb criminal and cop stories. From Bradenton.com, burglar breaks into Bradenton home to suck the victim's toes, cops say. Personally, I would rather be robbed blind than to wake up with a stranger sucking on my toes. A toe-sucking burglar broke into a Bradenton home on Christmas Eve no less, and got into a fight with a resident, according to the Manatee County Sheriff's Office. Deputies who responded to a home on 60th Avenue West were told that the victim was sleeping in his bedroom when he was awakened by the suspect sucking on his toes, according to an incident report. The victim asked the suspect what he was doing, and the suspect simply stated he was there to suck toes, according to the report. Well, that's a conversation right there. Deputies say a fight ensued, and during the fight, the suspect attempted to grab his genitals and then threatened the victim, saying he had a gun. According to the report, a gun was never seen, but the victim managed to force the suspect out of the home. The suspect then smashed out a window to the home and then destroyed the victim's car windshield. Holy shit. Yeah, I don't know. If I knew the guy was going to do all that, I might have just let him suck my toes. I would have hated every single second of it. I probably would have thrown up, but I don't know that I need my house and my car smashed and destroyed by a deranged toe sucker. Anywho, deputies tried to track the suspect with a canine but were unsuccessful in locating the suspect. DNA swabs were taken from the victim's toes, according to the report. The sheriff's office said the case is still under investigation. Yeah, no thank you. I don't want that experience in life. This next one comes to us from Vancouver Courier, vancourier.com, Canada's #1 community newspaper site. Headline reads, Burnaby driver too drunk to explain loaded handgun with silencer. Yeah. A 29-year-old man driving drunk through Burnaby while wearing body armor and packing a loaded semi-automatic pistol equipped with a silencer has been sentenced to 3.5 years in jail. Curtis Dieter Sandy Schmidt told police he did not know and could not explain why he had the loaded handgun and extra ammunition in his truck, or why he was wearing a bulletproof vest when he was arrested in the early morning hours of June 28, 2017, according to court documents. He said he had been drinking nonstop for several days. Schmidt was arrested at his parents' house after someone reported possible drunk driver in a red pickup tailgating another vehicle on a Burnaby highway at about midnight, according to court documents. Police went straight to the home of the truck's registered owner, and officers were still there when Schmidt drove up in it. He jumped out and ran into the woods, but officers chased him down. When asked why he had the weapons and the body armor, Schmidt said he didn't know, that he had been drinking for days and maybe he'd bought them somewhere that day. Okay. Schmidt told a similar story as a witness at the 2009 trial of Mark Anthony Arrieta, a teen with links to the Red Scorpions gang, who was convicted of killing University of Victoria student Philbert Trong. Schmidt told the court in that case that he had been passed out drunk at home with his iPhone the night Trong was fatally shot outside a Victoria nightclub, even though records reportedly showed Schmidt's phone had been used 95 times, including for calls to Victoria Taxi that reportedly brought the shooter to the scene, during the time Schmidt said he'd been passed out. His inability to answer questions about that night reportedly prompted the judge in that case to ask Schmidt if he was on medication or brain injured, to which Schmidt said no. Good on that judge, because this guy seems like a bona fide dumbass. BC Provincial Court Judge Paul Myers was equally unimpressed by Schmidt's explanation for the June 2017 incident. He was driving drunk in a busy city at midnight, Myers said in a sentencing decision last month. The gun was openly resting on the seat. The gun was cocked along with a loaded magazine in it, and he had a silencer locked in place. The gun had never been registered in Canada. The gun had no serial number on it. He was under 4 separate orders prohibiting from possessing firearms. He was wearing a bulletproof vest at midnight. His explanations, or at least his expressed bewilderment as to how, when, or why he had possession of the gun, the magazines, the silencer, and the bulletproof vest, are in my mind not satisfactory explanations at all. Myers noted Schmidt had numerous prior drug trafficking and fraud convictions between 2009 and 2012, but that there had been nothing new until the June 2017 incident. Myers also noted that Schmidt had no problems while on bail, that he had stopped drinking, was in a positive long-term relationship, and had set up an overseas chili pepper spice growing operation in Uganda, growing crops there to sell all over the world. This guy is all over the place. But Myers wasn't convinced by defense lawyer Colleen Eldon's submission that Schmidt was remorseful. I have a big question mark there because he does not seem to acknowledge, in my view, in a forthright way, what in the world he was doing that night with all of those dangerous things, Myers said. Besides the prison sentence, Schmidt was also handed a lifetime firearms ban. He had pleaded guilty to possessing a loaded prohibited firearm, occupying a vehicle knowing there was a prohibited device, the silencer, inside, and possessing ammunition while prohibited to do so. Wow. I just don't know. The whole growing chili peppers, spices thing from Uganda really throws that article off. I mean, you think this guy's just a thug, and then he's just an enterprising spice man, I suppose. We've had our Florida man stories and our Florida woman stories. Now we have a Florida bird story from CNN.com. Florida deputies came to the rescue of someone apparently screaming for help. It was a parrot. Turns out things aren't always what they seem or what they sound like. That's the lesson Florida police officers learned earlier this week after they responded to a call that turned out to be much different than what they thought. Deputies in Lake Worth Beach arrived at a home to help someone screaming for help, the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office said on Facebook. Hilarity ensued, the Sheriff's Office said on Facebook. In a video police shared, a man is seen working on his car when about 4 officers arrive in his driveway. He looks toward what appears to be a backyard and yells, "Rambo!" "I'll bring the screamer to you," he says. As they wait, the man steps away and comes back with a friend, his pet parrot. The green bird greets the officers, who seem to share a laugh about the incident, and bids them goodbye. It's nice to have something sweet every once in a while on the show, and wholesome. I think that was it. Probably for a while. Driver who blew a .25 said she wasn't impaired is a professional drinker. From KCCI.com, Des Moines Channel 8, CBS, if you're interested. An Omaha police officer shared a story of a DUI driver on Twitter Thursday. KETV reports Officer Jeremy Zippe tweeted that a woman who blew a .256 on a breathalyzer said she had very little to drink and was not impaired because she is a professional drinker. She was arrested for DUI and speeding after the traffic stop. They included a picture of Officer Zip tweet. He tweets, "Traffic stop, driver, DUI, speeding." She stated she had very little to drink, tried to complete multiple field sobriety tests all at once. What she thought was being efficient only showed more impairment. Also stated she was not impaired because she is a professional drinker. And there's that story. There is also a photo of the breathalyzer meter, in case you wanted to see that. If you I don't think I've ever seen one before myself. Maybe on Cops. I don't know. But yeah, you can check it out in the show notes if you'd like. Really, don't bother. It's not that interesting. Looks like a calculator. And now from dumb criminals to dumb cops, or I guess bad cops. This is from Gazette.com, the Gazette newspaper. It's just called the Gazette. I assume it's from Texas because the story is from El Paso. Lawsuit says, loophole in sheriff's policy gave El Paso County deputy leeway in having sex with woman after arrest. That's a hell of a loophole. A federal lawsuit blames a policy lapse at the El Paso County Sheriff's Office for clearing the way for a then deputy to take advantage of a gravely intoxicated woman after he'd arrested her on suspicion of drunken driving on Christmas Eve 2018. David Quisian, who has since been fired, allegedly believed he could get away with having sex with the drunken woman hours after her arrest because it wasn't strictly prohibited by the sheriff's policies manual for deputies, according to a 22-page complaint filed December 23rd in U.S. District Court in Denver. I guess this is El Paso County, Colorado, maybe? I don't know. When you call your paper the Gazette, it's hard to tell where you're from. The sheriff's manual prohibits sex between deputies and jail inmates and between employees and prospective employees. It allegedly was silent about people who were arrested and released from custody. In this case, the encounter occurred at the woman's home. By not taking her to jail or hospital, Deputy Quisian knew that he would be able to have sex with the plaintiff without consequence from his employer, the complaint says. That omission failed to anticipate a highly foreseeable potential for sexual abuse by deputies under the color of their authority, according to the lawsuit filed by attorneys Tim Busey of Colorado Springs and Sarah Schielke of Longmont. Whether the policy has been updated is unclear. Sheriff Bill Elder declined to comment, citing pending litigation. Remember, I mentioned I was a little rusty, so don't give me shit. El Paso County and Quisian are also named as defendants. A county spokeswoman declined to comment, and a message left on Quisian's home voicemail wasn't immediately returned. The lawsuit comes 7 months after the woman filed a claim with the county citing damages that could exceed $10 million. The 8 claims in the federal complaint include unlawful search and seizure, violation of bodily integrity, and deliberate indifference to civil rights. The plaintiff seeks compensation for emotional distress, loss of enjoyment of life, and other alleged harms. In November, she was convicted at trial of drunken driving and careless driving. The Gazette, which normally withholds the names of sex assault accusers, isn't publishing her name. She is expected to be sentenced Monday by El Paso County Court Judge Laura Feindorf. The woman has at least one prior conviction for an alcohol-related driving offense, court records show. A second offense generally carries a mandatory jail sentence ranging from 10 days to 1 year. The federal lawsuit doesn't dispute that she was intoxicated, citing her blood alcohol level at 0.287%, probably not a professional drinker, more than 3 times the legal limit for drivers. That left her incapable of granting consent, the complaint says. Quisian, who joined the sheriff's office in 2016, was placed on administrative leave in April and fired a month later, spokeswoman Jacqueline Kirby previously told the Gazette. His annual salary was $71,029. I guess that's pretty good for a deputy. Yeah, sounds pretty good. In June, the 4th Judicial District Attorney's Office said it did not have grounds to press charges against the former deputy. An investigation has determined that the conduct occurred when the woman was no longer in custody and had returned to her home, and while his actions were highly inappropriate and unprofessional, they do not rise to the level of criminal charges under Colorado law, the District Attorney's Office said in a statement. And that's that. He should have probably lost his job, yes, and it was inappropriate, and I think she has a right to sue. Yeah, bad cop. And here we are with our last police story from wwmt.com, West Michigan. Sheriff's Office issues Not My Pants public service announcement. Public service announcement reads, Prior to wearing someone else's pants, please remove all drugs, drug paraphernalia, stolen property, or any other illegal items the owner of the pants may have left behind. These are not my pants is not an affirmative defense. The Montgomery County Sheriff's Office issued a lighthearted public service announcement today. And I've gone through that and read that, so I'm not going to read it again. Post has been linked and shared hundreds of times on Facebook. These are not my pants is not an affirmative defense, the Sheriff's Office warns. That's it. Found that funny. I guess Montgomery County Sheriff's Office is in Dayton, Ohio. That's important to you. Yeah, I'm not a lawyer, but these are not my pants is not a good defense whatsoever. If you're going to talk to the cops, don't. Just keep quiet. And if you're under arrest, ask for a lawyer. Plead the fifth. You have the right to remain silent. Okay. And let's move on to the last story. And here it is, the last story of the show for this week from arstechnica.com. And you're going to want to check the show notes for this article because there are photos involved, which you will want to look at. I promise you. Headline reads, Man with 5.5-inch horn growing on his back slipped through the net, docs say. Smartphones won't make you grow horns. That's a reference to another article that's completely bullshit about younger people evolving or developing a bump on the back of their heads from looking at their smartphones too much because their head is tilted over. There's an article a couple months back about that, and it's complete bullshit. So let's forget that for a sentence and just go to the next thing. Recently, doctors in the UK surgically removed a 14-centimeter long dragon horn from a man's lower back. The 50-year-old patient reported that it had been growing for at least 3 years. The doctors determined that the gigantic skin growth was a cutaneous squamous cell carcinoma, or CSCC, a type of skin cancer that causes growing, scaly bumps on the top layer of the skin. And there is the first picture. I'm not going to lie to you, it is a nasty-looking sight. You should really check it out. I mean, it looks like a badly cooked piece of meat, like a roast or a leg of lamb or something. Jesus. Or like a chicken leg with the thigh still connected, you know? It's not gonna be good for your appetite. I don't know, I'm comparing it to food. But check it out. It'll do you good. While SCC is a very common type of skin cancer, the man's case is rare. The doctors report in the journal BMJ Case Reports this week. Such lesions are typically caught much earlier, but in this case, doctors found an extremely large, well-differentiated SCC that was neglected by a patient, even though he was living in a developed country with access to free health care. This highlights that despite current public skin cancer awareness and rigorous healthcare measures, cases like this can still arise and slip through the net, they conclude. Cases of SCC are typically seen in those with light skin who have a lot of sun exposure, are older, have a weakened immune system, or have had certain chemical exposures such as arsenic. In this case, the man was a light-skinned manual laborer, but he reported no other clear risk factors. He had no significant sun exposure, no personal or family history of skin cancers, and was not immunosuppressed. Also unusual, his lymph nodes weren't swollen, a common nonspecific sign that the body is fighting off an infection or disease such as skin cancer. There was only an enormous cutaneous horn on the lower back measuring 140 by 60 by 55 millimeters, the doctors report. To treat the woefully neglected cancer, doctors surgically removed the horn taking out several millimeters of peripheral tissue to ensure no cancer was left behind. Tests indicated that they caught it all, and the doctors patched the resulting gaping wound on the man's back with skin from his thigh. While the surgery seems to have been a success, the doctors report that SCC should be diagnosed and treated earlier, before becoming a dragon's horn. So that's that for this week. We are now at the end of the show. We will be saying goodbye. I don't think it was so bad this week. It was a little rusty, yes. I kind of got back into the swing of things. I think the show might be a little short, but so what? You've got better things to do than to listen to this anyway. I've got better things to do than to record this. So, with that being said, I guess sayonara, goodbye. You can check us out online at www.otheritemsofinterest.com. You could email us if you'd like at otheritemsofinterestpod@gmail.com. You can check us out on Instagram at otheritemspod and on Twitter at otheritem. So with all that having been said and another show under our belt, let's cue the music. Welcome to the end of the show. We've gotten through another episode of Other Items of Interest. I've been your host, Jack Zablocki. We'll see you again next week, folks. We'll miss you until then. Bye-bye.